Well, me and my friend Kira went to the park, full of colourful swings, slides, roundabouts, lounge swings. Then we sat down at a table on the steep grassy hill and zipped open our bags. I got out an orange Lucozade, and Kira got out 2 strawberry yogurt tubes. She gave me one as we enjoyed them together. A few minutes later, Kira and I were playing into the boomerang and frisbee when suddenly I threw the frisbee and it went into a bush near the forbidden forest. "You get it," I whispered. "Are you out of your mind?" Kira aggressively whispered. "You know how many people have died there?" At night, I snuck out to the bush as I felt quite curious. I then heard a familiar voice shout, "Don't go there!" It was Kira. "You might get kidnapped." And Kira's shouting was interrupted by a vicious growl and my scream. "Emma!" screamed Kira. "Where am I?" I whispered to myself. I turned my head from left to right. I then heard a whoosh and panting. "Who's there?" I quivered. Then, when I turned behind myself, I saw a pair of glowing amber eyes. I then heard an unfamiliar whisper. "Come, child, your fate is about to change, as you'll turn into one of us at the full moon, as well as when you don't want us to." I didn't understand whatever the mysterious figure said, but I walked towards the eerie amber lights and I saw a female wolf stand before me. "Follow, child. Your change awaits," said the wolf, as she spoke in a kind, gentle voice. "My change?" I asked her. I followed her to a gloomy, leafy cave, as she sat down and curled her tail around me. "Do you understand me, child?" She calmly stared at me, as they shone flashbacks of roaring flames and a tiny cub being the only survivor. Then, without no warning, she bit me. "Ouch! Why did you do that?" I screamed. "You'll see," replied the Alpha with a wink. "May I go now, Alpha?" I asked. She nodded with kindness. She then stopped me and gave me back my frisbee. Then, as I got to my house, I felt a strange urge to go back to the forest, so I just let out a non-caring meh. Then, as I opened the door, my skirt got caught in the door and ripped a hole on the rear. "Ow! Is something biting me or what?" I shouted. A few minutes later, when I was in bed, I kept on tossing and turning. I felt something fluffy tickle my nose. I thought, did the Alpha get into my bedroom, or... I woke up and looked at my rear. I pulled the long strip of fur. "Ow! Why did that hurt?" I then was able to swish it. "A tail?" I shrieked. "A tail?" I shrieked. Kira then came in. "Emma, is that tail real?" asked Kira. I nodded with worry, and then quickly took off my shirt. OMG. "There's fur on your back, and look at your body. What happened at the forest?" whispered Kira in worry. "Open your mouth a sec," said Kira. I opened my mouth for Kira to see my teeth had gotten sharp. "Emma, you're turning into a wolf!" she worriedly exclaimed as my face morphed to a wolf's. I then passed out. Back at school, me and Kira went to our separate maths classes. When pupils were answering times table questions, I accidentally put my paw up instead of my hand. Everyone gasped. "Is that real, Miss Emma?" asked the teacher. "No," replied Emma. She then turned her paw back to a hand. "See?" Everyone then started laughing. "All right, Emma, enough with the fake animal part," huffed Mr. Martins. "So what's 7 times 4? 28, I replied. Without myself noticing, my tail grew out of my rear. "Sir, Emma's got a swishing tail hitting me in the face," said a pupil. Emma then rapidly went under her desk. "Emma, is everything all right? Emma?" asked Mr. Martins. Mr. Martins peered under the table to see there were scratch marks all underneath my desk. I then slowly lifted my head for Mr. Martins to see my wolf eyes, sharp teeth and claws. "Does this look okay to you?" I whimpered. Mr. Martins then picked me up and led me on the table. "She's a victim from the wolf of the forbidden forest. She was bitten," whispered Mr. Martins as he saw Emma as a wolf. All the rest of the class ran to the other side of the room. Emma then slowly walked towards her teacher, growling, ready to bite. "No!" Kira then dived and grabbed Emma before I aimed to bite Mr. Martins, but instead I bit Kira. Both Kira and I laid on the floor as wolves.